This call is being recorded.
I am recording our
Okay.
conversation. May I get, or what city are you in for your solar return?
Brooklyn, New York, January 19th, 1999.
No, my bad. I actually got the,
Oh,
you're straight. Can I get what city you're in? So your solar return is, actually, by the way, happy belated birthday.
thank
Um,
you.
where were you? What city were you in, during your birthday?
Manhattan. You just put New York, New York.
New York, beautiful. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so let me share this chart with you. Please do not hesitate to interrupt.
All
Oh,
right.
please do not hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions at all whatsoever. Anything you'd like to mention, that is totally fine. Let's
Oh,
see.
wait. I do have a list of questions now that you mention it.
Go for it.
Okay. If I can find it. All right. Um, so see, these are some of my questions. I was going to ask, what is the main theme of this year? What does this chart indicate about my finances? Would I find success changing jobs? In what areas will I be most lucky? And there's more, but that's just some of them that I'll just put out for right now.
Yeah, and once again, at any point in the reading, please do not hesitate to interrupt so that you can ask any of these questions. And did you actually get a look at your solar return chart?
Yeah. So I
Oh,
already noticed that what's it called? So the ascendant is in my sixth house, my natal sixth house. Um,
beautiful.
I have a
Right.
first and second house stellium, so that's fun.
You really are the GOAT. That's amazing. You really
Yeah.
are. So, yeah, I actually have your natal chart in front of me for reference. So, yo, you're so dope because that was the first thing I wanted to say. Like, not only are you 29 degrees Capricorn sun, which is like the master goat, like I just gotta give it up to you right there. That's lit. But then your moon is in Aqua, so you're a vessel of like extraordinary knowledge. I have to give you an alien construct article because you have one of the coolest alien constructs, and this is why I love doing readings with people born after 96 because y'all are just like on a whole nother level. So that's the first thing I'm going to do in referencing for this solar return. I just have to let you know you're one of us. You're alien gang, and not only are you alien gang, I just need to represent. So you have Neptune 1 degree Aquarius, and because it's not in the same sign as Cap, right? But because it's within 10 degrees, you do count as a Neptunian power alien. So Neptunian power aliens can ascend, be mystical, dance the sacred dance, assist the dying in crossing over, easily access the astral plane. This is a little bit different because Neptune in Aquarius takes us to a whole other level. And so your ability, I'm similar to you in that we both have Moon in the same sign as Neptune and Uranus, but I have it in Capricorn. So the difference in Capricorn and Aquarius, like you'll see that Neptune vessel aliens can read others' minds and auras, read other souls. You can literally know people's greatest potential. The difference here, though, is in Capricorn, as you'll see, Uranian vessel aliens can predict the future, comprehend the cycles and trends of the future, read the minds of teenagers, predict election outcomes, conceptions. This actually happened to me before. Before I even knew about astrology, I was like 11 or so, and I had to escort a younger child to the bathroom, and I put my hand on his head, my left hand on his head, and he asked me, "How much money do I have in my wallet?" And I just heard 21, 21, 21, no savage. But then I basically said that, and he looked at me like, "There's no way you got that right." And I looked back at him like, "There's no way I got that right." And so I tried to guess like, "What's your favorite color?" or Think of an animal." And I got all of them wrong. And it wasn't until later I realized, oh, because I read this article, I was like, "Oh wow, I have the Taurus rising. It trines all this inner cap energy. Every time I tried to do it consciously, it didn't work. But because I just let it happen unconsciously, you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
worked. And not only that, because I was physically touching him, the earth telepathically, right? Now, the difference between yours and mine, I'm gonna read people's souls. I'm gonna feel this. The Neptune and Uranus draws from extra dimensional realms, from Aquarius, the causal mind, Uranus, and then imagination, Neptune. And so it grounds it in reality. And based on what anyone does, physical actions, I'll be able to draw intuitive understanding of their character. Like if someone picked their nose, I could just be like, "Wow, that's a serial killer." And that might not make sense. Like, how do I know that? I just know that. Well, I was able to pick that up based on an action they did, right?
Yeah.
Yours is so advanced. They don't even have to do it. You're now outside of time. So it's like you will just know, period. You will literally just have an innate understanding. And as a cancer rising, this now makes you like the personal goat for other people because with all this eighth house Aquarius energy, people have no idea that they give away all their secrets. You literally know all their secrets. Like you probably won't even want to know. And like you just have a small talk conversation with them, and now you know they have a foot fetish and that they have mother abandonment issues.
No, that's true because I kind of put two and two together about my boyfriend and realized he has a pornography addiction.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, he didn't even realize it until I began like kind of like because he's a 12th house stellium, so he doesn't understand himself
Oh
that well.
yeah.
So
And
then I kind of have to like, and his is an Aquarius, so I was just kind of like pushing
he's
him
a
like,
Cap rising.
huh?
He's a Cap. He's a Pisces rising.
No, he's an Aquarius rising.
Okay, he's an Aquarius rising. Okay, got you. Got
I think his rising is in 23 degrees, and he has his moon, Neptune, and Uranus in Aquarius because we're both born in well, he's born in 98.
So, yo, that's a crazy soulmate connection. So both of you share these supernatural like understands. It's interesting because I feel like at my age, I can marvel at what you're doing, but at your age, it's probably just like normal to y'all. So I just want to make sure you kind of experience the same. But that's profound, especially because when the moon is in the same sign as someone's first house, even if it falls on the 12th, it's a good significator of married couples because your moods are going to kind of align. It's just both of you are super detached about everything, but you're literally like alien souls. Like y'all are literally cosmic celestial souls, which at an advanced level is lit. I'm actually enjoying this because you have 29 degrees caps. You have to understand 29 degrees of any point is mastery. Like I look at that first and I have 29 degrees Mercury. Like this is why it's on my rising. This is why I'm such a good communicator. This is why, I'm pretty masterful. So to see you have this at the greatest zodiac sign, you are one of the most powerful spirits that exist. But it's more important because out of all the Capricorn suns, aqua moon caps and Pisces moon caps of any sign, or aqua moon or Pisces moon of any sign, is the highest level. So you are now the cosmic director, the advanced application of integrity. And I just want to give you those flowers. I want to honor that because that is a huge deal. One of the most significant and influential friends or super homies I have in my life is also an aqua moon cap. Any aqua moon, any sign I've met, I even know an aqua moon Scorpio who's given me mind blowing revelations, and I'm kind of tripping out because both of you kind of share resemblance. It's like I can see this shared soul. It's just you're definitely more goaded. Like you got the powerful 29 degree here. So yeah, I'm gonna use the word goat a lot because greatest of all time. But once
Literally am, so it's fine.
it's like it's all good. I'm incredible. I know. No, but it's dope too because as a Cancer rising, you are the high priestess. So as a high priestess, you are the vibration of cosmic integrity, which now in the seventh, eighth services literally the whole collective. And that's another thing I want to speak on because I'm a Taurus rising, Gemini sun, but I'm a Cat moon, so I'm a collective individual. And so we're talking because you paid me one on one. So I deal with people one on one, right? But you're a little bit inverse. You're a collective, which collectives is like you're a god, right? Or you're a goddess, right? You're a collective director, collective sun, collective moon, but you have an individual personality through sincerity. So as an individual, you're a collective, or you're a collective, you're a goddess with an individual personality. It's like you reflect back the collective you deal with and service the collective as an individual high priestess personality, which is very important because now if we look at the okay, we're not gonna look at the press, but I just wanted to reference these because and this is maybe the first time I've actually done a solar return where the person who I'm reading actually told me where their rising falls in their natal chart, which is so aqua moon. Like every time I do readings with aqua sun, aqua moon, it's like y'all already know what I'm saying. It's like I'm not telling you anything.
Yeah, it's just that there's not a lot of information on solar return charts, and I have, like, a PDF of, like, one solar return book, but it just I feel like it doesn't give me enough knowledge, and I read people's charts for fun, but I always struggle reading for myself.
I feel you. Yeah. So I mean, I hope I can serve you properly. Solar return charts in 2017 made me a believer because I was like, this is junk astrology. Like, how is it that the data I have today is even accurate? That didn't make sense to me
Yeah.
until midway through the year. I'm like, whoa, this is one of the most accurate charts I've ever seen because it was in my 10th house. And that was the year my career completely changed because it was a mutable kind of Gemini. So that made me like super serious about them and looking forward to them. So, for example, we see that your solar return this year falls in the second, and I'm gonna be very careful with this because I use equal signs and I also use whole signs. So you have the late 27-degree Sag rising, which is the mastery of ascension with Mars here during the Venus retrograde. So according to whole sign system, your sun falls in a third house. No, actually, it's on the second house. That's gangster. It's actually textbook in the second house on Pluto. So I'm glad you asked about finances because this is the year that you completely transform your finances. You step into maybe even a higher tax bracket, but everything about this is your own personal manifestation collectively. So it's kind of the higher octave of what I thought. Instead of getting paid individually one on one, you're dealing directly with the collective. It's the highest income potential because now everything that you're creating as a creator, you're in a position to manifest your own spirit as a boss, as a second house sun. This is the boss energy. So you're the boss this year. And we know once again that what you're manifesting in your natal chart is the seventh house awareness of relationships. So this year, the gift is you're transforming and ascending the nature of value and money you come into, and that's going to reflect in how much more valuable your partnerships are because we know Pluto is in seventh awakening that, and we know that the Venus retrograde, by the way, the seventh house chapter you had 2020 with Saturn and Jupiter has prepared you for marriage. People usually go through marriage, divorce, or business partnerships. So this is definitely, of course, Capricorn is so mature. Even at a young age, you're coming through this at a pretty young age or a younger age. And outside of just like romance and relationships, this is upgrading every partnership you have and raising the standards of this. So now that as a Cancer rising, Jupiter is in Pisces, this is your rising star year. You're coming into a Jupiter return, and your career is going to evolve all year. By the time 2023 we step into Jupiter in Aries, you're now taking the actions to bring in this career success individually. So I have so you having Pisces ninth house in the MC here with Jupiter is super badass because first of all, Jupiter loves the ninth house. So this is you being able to travel for work, even if it's like online, even if it's abstracting or astral projecting, like you're in a position to see. Pisces is very strange because this level of
Also,
teaching,
when you're reading for, whole signs.
yeah, equal and whole signs. Yeah, I see what you mean. Right, right, right. Because
Okay,
class,
because when I read, what's it called? Placidus, if that's how you pronounce it, it's in the 10th house at 17 degrees.
right. Because so what Placidus does, and I also blend Placidus too, because Placidus is really accurate for transit. So what Placidus does, and it makes the MC 10 the 10th house. Because the MC is the 10th house. So what the equal sign did was it's like, okay, so we see you got your 10th house MC. Well, your 10th house MC falls in the ninth house. And it took me a while
Mhm.
to get. So MCs that basically your 10th house and the ninth house means that your career is to be a teacher. So for example, like my MC falls in the ninth house, but it's ruled by the 10th. So it's an Aquarius. I'm known for what? Teaching ninth house about the stars Aquarius. So your legacy is going to be to change all the collective by expanding how much the collective believes in the metaphysical. You're going to change the way and evolve the way the metaphysical is taught. And you're going to be in a position to counsel and advise people on how to evolve their beliefs. This is important because Pisces is about the divine. But if you are an atheist and a structural engineer that didn't believe in God, when you teach people about engineering, you're going to activate and stimulate their imagination to think outside the box. This is very Einstein energy because Einstein was Pisces, but or had a Pisces sun, and this is the realm of the metaphysical after science, Aquarius. So it's like the most advanced science. Ironically, a lot of people look at Virgo as scientific, but Virgo is really just critical analysis, whereas Pisces is the scientific imagination that allows us to really engineer possibilities past the knowledge of Aquarius, which is why I think Einstein even said the only thing greater than knowledge is imagination. And if it wasn't him, that's just the Pisces aqua allude. So I just want to get all these gears out the way just to set up the significance of your Saturn, your solar return. Because once
Mhm.
again, this eighth house chapter you just finished, Jupiter went through your eighth. This was transformation. And so relative to this, I just kind of want to marvel once again, like Pluto is going to come in 2023 and actually awaken this super psychic claircognizance, right? That's really the signature to Pluto Sag. Y'all are creating a new world. You literally have to live this ascended extreme lifestyle where you provide extreme healing through this and to really open up and ascend how people walk and live their lives. So this is cool because we know your solar return moon is in Leo. It's opposite Saturn. 29 degrees next to here is now with the MC in Libra, you becoming a social leader this year and you being in a position to lead, artists and maybe even create a space for artists to come through. Shout out to Mercedes Edison on Instagram. She's Universe. And I've seen her do a video where she was talking about, we're all creators. We're all gods and goddesses. We create our reality and she's a Sag rising. She's a Libra sun with the MC in the 11th, and she's a DJ, she's a producer. So like she'll rock crowds of hundreds of people. And I just kind of like that archetype because it gives you an idea of what the MC Libra looks like as the creative Sag rising. So you are creating. It's interesting because your rising being in the sixth is now having you personify your behavior. And this is with Mars here going to add this assertion all year. Now that it's in Capricorn, you're now taking action to manifest. And the key thing here with Pluto and Venus retrograde, like it's really cool that Venus retrograde falls in the first, but is attached to the second, because a lot of what's going to influence a lot of this manifestation will be the reorganization of how you express your beauty and what level of integrity and power you own this. Okay, because Venus is about to go direct and Mars is going to move forward with it. So this is you indirectly reflecting how you personify with what space you hold in relationships with others. If anything, you may also be monetizing your relationships. Capricorn is like the god of network marketing. And so like you'll be in a position to this isn't like being in the MLM and you're like, hey, join my thing and pay me, you know what I'm saying? Even if it was, the way that you do it, everyone's gonna win. It's not gonna be like, you're there people are not gonna feel like they're being used, which is very important because Capricorn is I use. So like a very important thing as a Cancer sun is you use relationships. Even if you don't use people, like you're supposed to use relationships to bring out people's greatest. And I think that's really interesting too. Everything about the eighth house is connected to the 12th house of addictions. So I think that you have the innate ability to, in transforming and awakening people's behavioral and now, behaviors into the light, you can kind of feel anyone's addiction. You can feel the knowledge of anyone's secrets. And so that's just something I want to keep in mind. Venus is going to literally repair. And I don't think that you need your financial world repaired, but it's literally going to organize, sort, and polish your portfolio, your money. Okay. And because Uranus is in your fifth, sixth, this is going to automate and make unconventional how much more powerfully and strong you manifest creatively and align that in the lifestyle. So Capricorn, second house is spending power, and then sixth house Taurus. Capricorn is spending power, but in the second house, you're manifesting that spending power. But the significance of second house Capricorn to sixth house Taurus is manifesting money and spending power, and then you're allocating and integrating that money into a lifestyle where you can live off this money that you're manifesting.
That's funny because that's actually how I go about my finances. Like, well, for example, I mean, this is kind of personal, but right now I'm actually homeless. I'm currently at my sister's place, but whenever I do get money from my job, I mostly just put most of it into savings. And I do plan on in the future saving enough money so I could just live off of savings for all and then kind of like integrate into having a more stable job because I hate working.
Oh,
I I hate working so much. I'd rather just save up and then just relax.
that's the most important thing you said because you have the soul of the High Queen. And I mean, you confirmed some very important things for me. Um, because society is unforgiving towards water signs and water sign risings. It's funny, you hate working, but if you wanted to work a job, you could. But
Yeah,
you have your 10th house in Aries, so you have no business working for anybody because the
I
career
hate
success.
it.
Oh yeah, and you
I
have
hate
Saturn in your
working.
10th. Your Saturn won't even let you work for another person because it's like telling the Lord of Karma what to do, and it's like, excuse me, like I own my own life. So it's like even vibrationally, like you really can't work a job. So it's not that you can't, but it's like you will, right? So I want to honor that because once again, society will be very unforgiving towards that attitude. They'll be like, oh, just just grit your teeth and work. But like this and once again, like everything you said was as a queen or king with like the high people in society don't work. They have portfolios, right? They don't have jobs. Like they basically let their money work for them. So to kind of come into this understanding at a young age, you to go. So I just kind of want to congratulate you because being homeless right now is one of the most important steps in your growth, and it gives context towards Pluto in your sign that's completely destroying everything. This Venus retrograde that's reorganizing everything. I fully believe that by May of 2022, you may already, if not before then, break into a new home because Aries.
Sorry. It's because last year in March, what happened was that I was in a roommate situation and my roommate accidentally set our place on fire. And
Oh,
last year during my solar return, I think Pluto was in my fourth house. There was just a fourth house stellium last year. So
right.
it was basically indicated that like I was going to lose my home or something of that sort.
In Libra, right? Libra is your fourth house. So here's the thing. So in your chart, Libra is your fourth house with Mars. Oh my God, you have Mars 27 degrees opposite Saturn 27. That is wild. That is, I'm sorry, incredible. So, oh my God. That's so powerful because you're focusing that towards other people. So, like, you will put someone in check real fast. It doesn't matter if they're an army general or they're homeless. You'll just be like, look, A, B, C, and D. And so that's really powerful because I've never really seen something like that. Just to kind of emphasize, as a creator of the new world, Saturn and Aries, y'all spark the new concepts. So once you come of age, like y'all are gonna spark new ideas and concepts. Well, Saturn Gemini will spark new ideas based on the concepts, but the concepts you spark will bring us into the supernatural, the advent of consciousness science. And I mean, I'm so honored to be like talking to you because you represent like the upper echelon executives of this facet of the new generation. So you're operating at a higher collective level. So once again, that was really revealing um, because Capricorn Sun is a first house in and of itself. Aries is your fourth house. So you may be aware of moving into a new home Aries season. And then May when Jupiter comes into Aries. Because when Jupiter transits the fourth, almost always you move. And so if Jupiter transited Libra, like maybe 2017 or 2017 may signal the move around then. But now there's the sun sense where this may facilitate a move, but because it's in your 10th house, you're going to be aware of this in your career. So maybe a career opportunity might facilitate a move, or you might maybe live in an office you create. The thing is, this is all going to be established Pisces season with the new moon Jupiter cycle. So you're straight. I mean, I wouldn't see within like 5 months you not having a new place or getting the ball rolling. It's definitely going to be lucrative. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that information. Wow. So once again, you have the second house Capricorn. The cool thing about this too is For the first chapter is usually the AC. And so you started this in the middle of chapter 1 into chapter 2. So we're well underway. Now we're in chapter 3. Of course, because most of Aquarius is your second house, you're manifesting the knowledge of chapter 2, and you're already beginning the process of networking and pulling together the right knowledge in order to come into a cosmic attitude, and also to develop extraordinary skill sets in order to manifest this power. Here's the deal: the completion of the solar return will be complete July. So once we step into Cancer season, because 29 degrees Cancer is going to represent the opposition, that's going to complete the solar return cycle. And so Leo season will complete what Aquarius season is doing right now. Virgo will complete what Pisces is doing, and it will come back around. So the 6 months after July is you just manifesting the results of your solar return. And so this is key because the eighth house is about investments. You're going to completely transform your financial world so that by July, you will now have open investment channels, eighth house of trust, to be like, okay, this is who I trust, this new money that I've come into, so that these investments can grow your finances. However, we know Cancer is your first house. So you're going to identify as the person and power of who to trust. So you'll probably have more direct control and understanding of what you're investing in. So that's kind of how to blend it in the natal chart. Okay. I'm also picking up, you really deal with a lot of people's dark energy. And I don't want to be too vague with this, but like if you just kind of pick up really dark or like negativity from people, I think at an unconscious level, because a lot of your soul is not here. It's like not in reality. It's like you're here in reality, but you're tapped into this causal extra dimensional realm at the soul. So like you literally sit outside of time. And so it's like you may inadvertently be
That makes
exercising.
so much sense because, like, I feel like, for me, I've just completely lost a sense of time. Like, sometimes I have people remind me that today's a Friday, and I'm like, "It's Friday?"
I love it. You said today is Friday. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay.
No, today's not Friday, but sometimes when I'm at work, people are like, "Oh, like, happy weekend," and I'm like, "It's the weekend?"
Right. That's honestly how I felt last Friday too, but for a different reason. But
Yeah.
thank you for saying that because that gives me a lot more perspective on how to see Aquaman. But like basically you're exercising the crap out of people's demons and darkness. It's just not as simple as I'm gonna exercise it. This is all happening automatically, just with your presence, like super gangster. So it's at least bringing this up to be resolved in people. And if they have no integrity, they're gonna project it on you like you're a horrible person or a witch, but if they have integrity, they'll be able to sort through it, maybe even thank you, even if indirectly, because you interface directly with people's higher selves. So if they're conscious or not conscious of it, you're dealing with like that collective higher part of them as a collective higher self yourself, or as a collective higher goddess yourself with the holy personality. So Cancer, or usually high priestesses, usually have to deal with sanctifying the holy water and just kind of like with demons within people or around people. So that's super badass. And I just kind of wanted to illustrate now, because you have your moon in Aquarius, you're going to be very receptive to the organization and manifestation of these skills. That because this is also your eighth house, these skills are what you're going to use to deal with other people to manifest a lot of this worth. And a very key element of this, once again, with Pluto, is such an awakening and transformation. You're also going to be awakening the self esteem and value of people. So that's another thing. I'm going to share the Pluto power alien construct because now, relative to this year, you can perform psychic surgery, see beneath solid surfaces, shapeshift into animals, minerals, or plants, heal utilizing sex, magnets, lasers, perform exorcisms, scan the astral plane, find lost objects and people, understand the true nature of death, sex, and rebirth. And so Pluto is the awakener, really. And so, uh, what this facilitates now is you awakening the crap out of people. And it's going to hurt because if people don't have powerful self esteem, a lot of what you say can come off as an attack when really it's just that tough love. You're keeping it real. Like, hey, one, two, three. and it's going to be more than constructive criticism. It's going to be the direction that will help them awaken to their true worth and value. It's just the way Capricorn does it could be very scolding. It's like, don't you know you're worth more? Like, blah blah, get off your ass, blah. And it doesn't mean you'll be mean with it, but even if you said it in a nice way, people with low self-esteem can just take it as an attack. And that's because Pluto is intense. So even unspokenly, like, it's just going to really be extreme. But this is cool because you're facilitating a breakthrough collectively for the value of the collective, expressed probably usually through who you talk to. So
Yeah.
that's really, you know what I'm saying, very, very pivotal. Venus trines Uranus in your chart. So even though it's retrograde, I'm not going to focus too much on the retrograde status because we now have a snapshot. When we have snapshots, retrogrades don't really matter anymore. Retrogrades matter a lot in transits. That's when we'll kind of understand that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm really struggling right now in my relationship, and like I love my boyfriend, but I really want to dump him. And I'm constantly going through this issue, not just with him, but like with other relationships where I get bored very easily, or rather, if I feel like they don't respect me enough, I just want to jump out of it. Like he fucked up recently by not even telling me happy birthday until I asked him if he had forgot it.
What?
Yeah. And we've been
Damn.
together for 2 years, and last year, he fucked up in a different way because, of course, with his 12th house stellium, he was half asleep while trying to buy me a gift, and he bought something off someone else's wish list without, like, putting in any of my information. So he's on thin ice right now.
Yeah. What's his zodiac sign?
So he's a Leo and a double aqua. What's
Okay.
interesting about his chart is that his Leo has no aspects to any of his personal planets,
Right.
like, which I've never seen in a chart before. Like, it's not even touching his Mercury.
He's at a low point in his life because he just stepped into a new 12-year cycle. So like all this 12th house energy he's clearing is having it's like revalue, like everything he thought he knew about himself, he's releasing. So he's having to gain his back. I don't want to like cape for him or make excuses for him because
Mhm.
here's the thing. You have the seventh house Venus retrograde. So like it's a transit like this where you're single. You know what I'm saying? Or you grow in your relationship. Saturn went through your seventh too, so you upgraded your standards, right? So I won't even say you get bored easily as much as your aqua moon knows from the get-go if it's worth it or not, especially if certain things change. So I would, you're a master of timing. So honestly, if you feel you should dub him, he might need this. Like he might need that separation. I think you're feeling that too. I could easily see you guys coming back together, even if just as friends, because y'all will always have that soul connection. But I
Yeah,
think
we're on a break right now.
there we go. So I'm thinking it's realistic. I'm not really one to be like, oh, don't do this during a retrograde or whatnot. But I would just let Venus go direct first. And then once whether it moves to the shadow period or not, once that kind of occurs, then you can make your decision. Now, here's the cheat code. You're 29 degrees Capricorn, so it's probably going to be the same way you feel now, probably going to make the same decision. So just to keep that in mind, it's very symbolic that you're doing this during the seventh house transit you're going through, and that's going to facilitate a lot. Especially knowing that he's in your second house. And so as a North Node Leo, you were destined to meet him because he challenges you to live into and manifest your destiny. Because you're very aqua. You both come from the ancient future. I'm assuming he's North Node Leo too. But
No, I think his North Node Virgo. Um,
okay, so he's born earlier, like 98, 97.
yeah,
Cool. So
has Cancer Venus and a Cancer Mars, as far as I know. Trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah.
that's deep. So yeah, I mean, you come from the ancient future. So like it's very easy for you to network and understand what other people need, but this destiny is for you to manifest your own value. So you're literally using the resources and investments from other people to come into your own wealth. And Leo can be challenging, especially as a Capricorn and Aqua. Leo can be a bit cringy to Aqua and Cap because Leo's like, "Look at me, I'm here, yeah, give me attention." And it's not really as vain as that, but that's really Leo. Like, yo, like I'm the star, and Capricorn is I don't need the limelight. That's young boy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm an OG in the G, and that's from Fonte, who's also a Capricorn. So this is where it's like you have to come into the light, and I love this because my North Node is Aquarius. So like our South Node is okay, we got to get off our thrones. We don't need all this attention. We have to go network with other people and share that, right? So this is you coming into taking your backing of networking and connections and coming into being that central role because you're going to know how to allocate all that. So that's really cool. I just wanted to reference that because we know that your moon is in Leo, and so of course the Mercury Saturn Leo axis is going to connect you to your destiny. While ironically, your solar return featured North Node 29 degrees Taurus, which is awesome because now you have that sun trine. So you'll always everything that you do will always just lead into manifesting this destiny, which is actually the coolest thing about being a Capricorn Sun with the North Node Taurus transit. Every money you make, everything that you do is going to ground very extraordinarily, which is what Uranus is doing. But now Destiny aligns us to make this happen. So really, really interesting, really, really incredible. I want to kind of emphasize Pluto's role here because Chiron is 8 degrees Aries, Aries. So this is going to realistically draw from the 12th house nature of Pluto in your solar return and awaken unconscious habits but also transform yourself. It's really cool. Your natal Pluto is in the solar return first house. I mean, in the sign of it, and then the solar return Pluto is on your sun. So this is full on transformation. By the time we step into summer, you're not recognizable. Like you're completely transforming the collective around you. And in 6 months from now, you're going to reflect that personally in how you deal with other people because of course Leo is your eighth house, Cancer is the eighth house in the solar return. Your personality is what you're going to be using to interface and deal with other people, invest with other people. And now the other most major thing is the second house Capricorn is going to reawaken and transform your awareness of your time and what your time is worth. Because really, you're so supernatural. This is going to bring a catch 22 where it's like, you may not be able to charge less than $50,000 for any of your services. And it's like, that's a lot for too many people, but you're going to learn there's a whole network of people who can afford you at that rate. It's literally upgrading the quality of the collective you serve or work with or manifest. Because this is strictly, the solar return is strictly like social uh, collective vibes or social goddess vibes where you got
That's
the
interesting you mentioned that because I'm actually an artist and I recently have a new client who wants a commission for me. And I'm noticing like I really do need to like upgrade my prices more simply because I've been undercharging for so long and I can't keep doing that to myself, especially when I don't even want to do projects to begin with.
yeah, you don't want to, and so that's kind of how you want to think. You like you make collectibles, you make limit. You're the greatest. So like yeah, it might be too much for people to afford, but that one person who can afford it now has something exclusive that no one else probably has. So that's already justification. It's just especially I've started a business before. We can be really afraid to raise prices because we still want to get paid, right? But this
Yeah.
is where you know and yeah, it's the catch 22 between like I want to pay my rent versus I still want to get paid what I'm worth. And so, this is where you can kind of create a tier system where you have like higher. I'm not going to tell you how to do this because you know better than me how to price stuff and like how to, make money, right? But this is really cool because you're all transforming this year. Like Aquarius season is now giving you knowledge to think about in reference to what you're manifesting. And I want to talk a little bit about Aquarius season because since Saturn is here, the ruler of your solar return second and seventh house natally is in Aquarius, right? It's in your eighth house natally, and it's in the second, third house with Aquarius. So finances is going to be something that's very solidified. If Jupiter took Bitcoin from 30,000 to 50,000, Saturn is what's making the average stay at around like 40,000. Saturn is why it dipped back down to like 20,000. So it's like kind of raising the averages here, and this is going to solidify you're going to sow the seeds this coming new moon in like a week or two, in a week, to like solidify uh, what knowledge is enabling you to sustain this income. So if Sagittarius season was the brand, and Capricorn season was you setting your prices. The third house in Aquarius season is going out to the network and being like, this is what I offer. This is what I offer. It's writing blogs like, hey, you need what I offer. You don't even know. Here's why. Boom, 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 boom. Or it could be marketing, advertising. That's kind of how I like to see the third house. It's literally expressing your message out there so that you can advertise, promote, and really develop skills that also sell yourself. Or really, I don't want to focus this too much on money because you are the money this year. So it's really just kind of like developing your value and just kind of connecting more powerfully. We have Mercury retrograde here too, and I don't want to focus too much on the retrograde notion, but this is going to have you just reevaluate knowledge all year. Everything you come into, you'll be in a position to instantly understand. It's like you'll go through a reevaluative transit over 2 weeks in like one day, and you'll be able to just very quickly master this. And so I just kind of want to speak a little bit to this because by the time, of course, we step into Pisces season, Mercury is direct, Mars is in Cap, direct with Venus, and we're going to have in March 2nd the new moon in Pisces. And that new moon in Pisces is effectively going to influence this Jupiter cycle. Thankfully, you have Jupiter in the third. And so here's another thing. Yeah, this is once again relative because we know that Pisces is your fourth house and majority Aries is your fourth house. You that may be the Pisces season, Aries season may be the period you move into a new place. Like Pisces season in the third house, which is like the neighborhood, could be you deciding or seeing the possibilities of where to move. Aries, you actually take action, make that move. And you now restore everything this year. And because that's your natal 10th house, it's going to be connected to career success and how you anchor all that, which is really cool. So Pisces is going to really open the door for you. This is where, especially if you go by Placidus, um, a lot of Aquarius season is you manifesting the knowledge of how you're going to sort through your finances. Actually, it's Saturn. So Jupiter would represent expansion, but I feel Saturn is going to be completion. So the cool thing about this is, let's say you finish the Saturn return and you may even have less money now. You may even have less money then than you do now. The gift of this return still is now you know the game plan to make millions. So even if you don't get any liquidity, you're for sure going to manifest the steps and the knowledge to come into so much money. And that's going to ground by Taurus season. By May, you already have that. So that by Cancer season, once you complete it, you're taking action to who to invest in, what to invest in, which is super awesome. So I kind of this is where this Aquarius season is you actually setting with Saturn the investment channels and really just kind of repairing your finances. So everything that you have learned to do here August and September during Leo and Virgo season, you're now going to be in a position to show into the light. You're going to show for what work you've done here, basically. It's going to bring you a higher philosophy of now, relative to the eighth house Cancer, how much more to deal with people socially and now master this career realm that has sustained the lifestyle you're creating. And of course, we know you're Cancer rising. So this was Virgo third house as the solar return 10 house is going to change your attitude about your career because now you're breaking through in your career by this point. So Pisces season is the third house, fourth house region. You're going to be manifesting divine abilities that will really key you into a more abstract understanding of your inner world with Neptune and Jupiter. This could even temporarily give you insight to your ancestry. But because most of this falls into the third house, the new moon cycle that we're going to have here is going to open up now a very supernatural ascension of how much more you kind of tap into these divine abilities and skills. And this is important too, because this is your ninth house. So this is going to be the cycle that kicks off this rising star year. Last year was my rising star year because, well, technically it was Capricorn season as a Taurus rising. And then as a Gemini sun, it was Aquarius 2021. So rising star year personally is as a Cancer rising, literally you being a rising star. You're literally ascending, and because your career's there, you're gonna come to career upgrades. And now this is Neptune in Pisces. So none of
You
this will make sense.
know, though, that you mentioned about ancestors, the past few days I've been having dreams of, well, of seeing my father and seeing my late grandmother, and just seeing people who like recently has left me, and kind of like them communicating with me. Like I had a dream my grandma was we were driving somewhere, she was telling me, "Well, I'm going to help you find housing." And then I had a dream about my dad this morning, but his was a bit weird. He just basically said, "I just disappeared for a few years." Um, so that
That's
just
the
also, yeah, I was just kind of like, I don't understand why you did that to me, but okay.
right. And it's interesting because the main element of Neptune in Aquarius, more than any Neptune sign, is precognitive. You're literally dreaming of the future, and you're coming into knowledge through your dreams. So the sun makes you aware, and as Pluto will go through this year and next year, fully awakening it. So that by the time we step into 2024, 2025, boom, we're in that new cycle. It's now soul awakening. And oh my gosh, you think you're psychic now? Please, like it's about to take us to like people are about to someone's about to walk up to you and be like, and you're gonna be like, you dropped the cookies, didn't you? And you're like, how did you know I was gonna tell you this? Like you're probably already doing it too. So something to keep in mind. So it's really powerful because once again, that sun, moon, Jupiter, Neptune in your ninth, but solar return third connected to the fourth is going to open the doorway to brand new abilities that will really change the way you process the unseen and really lead forward with your belief. And the reason why I say it's not going to make sense is miracle, like Capricorn rising star years, is you're making the game plan and you're putting in the steps and you're incrementally. Aquarius, like I went through, is I saw my social media following raise, like I reached out and networked more people. Pisces to me doesn't make any sense because this is literally like miracles. It's like you just happen to be at the right place at the right time. Now you have 500,000 bucks, and it's just like wow. I'm not saying that it has to be like that because with Pisces, it's so abstract. Maybe you might get no money, but you need a friend, or you come into an idea that's worth millions, right? It's so metaphysical. It's the highest level MC, by the way. So this is going to bring in your dream vocation, which honestly probably isn't a job. Like this is going to bring in that dream life where it's going to set the stage where you don't even need to work a job. Or once again, because Saturn is in your 10th, you live your life on your own terms. Like you are your own boss, really. And just know that hold true to that vision. I'm going to share you YouTube links with because this is going to work very powerfully for you. I feel like Cancer is the best zodiac sign at this because it involves feeling, right? But personally, um, I want to share with you this link to um, E squared, the audiobook. And
Hmm.
also, even if you've heard it, just so you can have it. And also, "Feeling is the Secret" by Neville Goddard. And basically, that's all about feeling the imaginalized, feeling the future desire as a present fact. When I send you this recording, it'll be in those links with the article.
Okay.
And the reason why you want to do this is something that I'm going to advise everyone do during Jupiter Pisces, which is heavily imagination based because Pisces is so abstract. It's the astral realm where past, present, and future happen instantly. So you just over the next 5 months, right? You see yourself as just like infinitely wealthy. You don't even have to work a job. Like you want to feel that, you see that now. What are you doing? What exclusive art events are you going through to share your art with people? You're that person now, right? And this is where by May, it's real. And this is where this Pisces chapter can hyper accelerate this even if it doesn't look the way you expect it to look, it's going to put you on the fast track to being there as soon as May. The more you kind of anchor this, and this is where you having 29 degrees, uh, a Capricorn sun is going to literally take this to a higher level of power and your ability to manifest supernaturally and awaken so much. It's going to be a very great adventure because this is also the year with the ninth house Jupiter, you're going on a divine adventure to return your Jupiter and come into this next level of abundance. And this is where, in its proximity to Neptune, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, This is miraculous. It's going to literally bring stuff that you don't think is possible and make it possible. Like you would never think that you can make an NFT art piece and sell it for like $1 million, right? Or sell it and then it grows to $1 million and boom. But I don't want to say stuff like that because what's going to happen is even greater than that, right? It's even more divine than that. And you may not be able to perceive it, but since you have Jupiter there, I think you will. So this is where once we step out of everything about Pisces season is going to give us the perception in your ninth house, it's going to adjust your beliefs around what direction you go to form your career. And in the solar return, what direction you go to come into a home. If you've already gotten a home, you're going to be deciding, okay, this is what I'm going to do to renovate the home or the place that I'm at. And so the Aries season is going to come and you're going to actually take that action. So Aries season is going to square Capricorn season and it's going to challenge your value. It's going to challenge how much more creatively you express your art. Aries and Taurus season is going to revitalize now how much you express your art and talents. Now that you've set in place through Capricorn and Aquarius season, your value and what it's worth. The higher the value, the more creative your expression. That square to Pluto is going to extremely test this in the face of people that might challenge how much valuable you are. And you just kind of own and stand for that. So Aries season's transit is going to complete September, October, and Libra, where everything you individually define in your creative world, you're going to now 11th house bring these creations towards others socially in order to do business, in order to come into success. So everything you start doing April, you're going to come into success October. And then everything you manifest Taurus season, in your lifestyle, taking all this money to sustain this new level and foundation of wealth, you're going to transform November in Scorpio season to unlock and release unconscious habits. But because the nodes are involved, what this is now a fixed destiny. And you and I both have fixed destinies. Basically, whatever is meant to happen is meant to happen. It's not like a cardinal sign destiny where it goes as far as you take action. And immutable sign destinies change. Like you never know what's going to happen. But fixed sign destinies, whatever is meant to happen is meant to happen. You have to go through, which I like because it's like it gives you the sense that you're not going to miss what's meant for you here,
Yeah,
and which is getting stacks. So like that's going to be really dope. And Scorpio is also eighth house investment channel energy too. So everything you kind of ground there, you'll be releasing in the 12th house. Boom, we come into Gemini season. Now this completed version of your solar return is the truth you're expressing to other people, aligning into an enlightened lifestyle that now aligns with truth and your mind, how to think about this extra income, how you've now created the stability and foundation of the sixth house Taurus axis with the North Node to live the life you are destined to live. Jupiter is in Aries. We're in the promised land. Your dream is real. Now you're starting to build off of this because it's not over, right? Once we enter the promised land, we're just beginning. And so this is where Gemini, you express that truth towards other people. And that assertion in Mars is complete before Mars will actually retrograde in Gemini and have you reevaluate now how you change your mind around it because where you started isn't where you are then. And then, of course, we step into Cancer season. You now individually make investments based off of what you've completed, and that's your solar return.
that's crazy.
Yeah, this is going to be a incredibly awakening year and transformative.
I thought it was just gonna be chaos because of it being my 12th house perfection year.
Ooh, yeah, on that. 12th house to me, I'm not too familiar with perfection years, but 12th house is you ending the cycle. So, this is when I went through Jupiter in my 12th house, I didn't know I was going to become the peace dealer. I was a little depressed. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? But if I knew, I would have been happy. It's just the whole thing with that is if you told me back then I was going to become the peace dealer, that wouldn't mean anything. I wouldn't know how to think about it. I didn't know about astrology. So I literally just had to surrender and let it unfold. And that's kind of how you want to think of 12th house anything.
Yeah, I'm already gonna start making physical changes once Venus retrograde is done.
Beautiful, beautiful, and it's moving forward with Mars. So you're going to see a lot of things picking up now that Mars is in Cap. So all power to you. I feel like yeah, you're transforming your finances, but as like a collective goddess, you're really just hooking everyone else around you up. So it's like everything you're doing is really for everybody, which is really lit. Like this is why y'all are the goats. Like you really
Yeah.
hold it. So I'm gonna end this recording, and please feel free to keep in touch if there's any